In today's video, I'm going to give you my top 5 tips that I have learned being in the insurance business since 2011, both producing to sell insurance as well as recruiting agents to become top producers to help you sell more insurance. My name is David Duford. I am the owner and operator of davidduford.com, where I recruit agents nationally and help them become top producers. And what I'm about to share with you is really the result of making numerous mistakes, personally producing and also witnessing the mistakes and successes too of recruiting agents to become top producers in order to give you a hopefully condensed but valuable top 5 tips to help you become a top producer. So let's get right to it. So the first thing that you really need to understand is that specialization is key if you want to sell a lot of insurance. So the best way to describe what I mean when I say specialization is that you don't want to be in a position to where you are everything to everybody. When you are trying to sell auto insurance, life insurance, home insurance, you end up not knowing enough about anything in real specifics in order to be of value to the people that you represent. And added on top of that, it's very difficult to understand all the dynamics related to each product line. And what you want to do instead is research what options are out there as far as insurance products to sell and pick the one that best fits your personality and you feel like you could do the best work for. Another classic way to describe what you should do and why you should do it and why you should specialize is the comparison between a general physician to a cardiologist. The general physician knows a lot about little things, whereas a cardiologist knows a lot about one thing. But when you compare their income, the income is substantially higher earned by the cardiologist than the general physician. And so goes selling insurance. I've seen this time again with different types of producers. The ones that you tend to see who are the most successful, we're talking 6+ figures in earnings every year, really just sell one thing. Now, some of them eventually possibly cross-sell, but it's later down the line, and it's only after they've mastered their core product. So bottom line, if you're new to selling insurance, do one product and get really good at it. Number 2 is run more appointments. There's only 3 things you need to know to be successful in insurance. It's see the people, and see the people. What I have discovered training agents across the country, I've coached more than 1,000 agents since 2013, is that even if I'm dealing with literally Tony Robbins' child, a exact replica of the master of charisma himself, he will not do as well as the mediocre, plain old insurance agent with mediocre skills who sees 2, 3, 4 times as many people. Charisma does not trump activity. You've got to embrace the fact that your sole mission in life selling insurance is seeing people, running appointments, getting in front of your prospects on a consistent long-term basis. And this matters because, again, it doesn't really matter what your sales skills are if you can't get in front of enough people. And through all the coaching that I've done with my agents and talking to tons of agents that don't work for me, the biggest reason why they struggle and don't sell as much as they want is because they don't see enough people. And in many cases, this is a simple fix. You have to do more prospecting, you have to buy more leads, to set more appointments, whatever it takes. You have to close that gap and where your production is by upping your activity and keeping it there. So run more appointments if you want to see more people. The next thing you can do is definitely improve your sales skills. As my college professor once said, you got to have those skills to pay the bills. And you're right. You can't just run a bunch of appointments and then expect everybody to throw their checkbook at you. You got to know what to say and how to say it in order to persuade your prospects to your way of thinking so that them, by investing their money and their time with you, that they think they're going to get a better value out of the deal. That's how we make sales anyway. And when I first started in insurance, I definitely was in that case too. I remember the first couple of sales calls I did and literally begging the client to buy, and I thought I personally offended them. It didn't make any sense to me. But I had a coach and mentor when I got started, and I learned exactly, well, here's how you qualify your clients better. Here's how to make sure if they're actually a good fit for your product or not. Here's the questions to ask them. Here's how to ask the questions. Here's how to build value in the sales process, and here's how to handle the objections. You've got to have all those skills in order to do this successfully, because without them, you'll see gaps in your game where you should have sold somebody, but you may not have, or you spent too much time trying to sell somebody who just wasn't qualified. So a lot of agents ask me, okay, so what are the biggest things I need to focus on if in the sales side of things, if you're saying that's important? Well, this is what I have discovered, again, after coaching agents for many years now. The first thing is that the pre-qualification is a big thing. A lot of agents will get hot and heavy. It doesn't matter what product you sell. They'll just get hot and heavy with the prospect and think there's something there. And they fail to ask the tough questions up front. And they go down this rabbit hole, spending an inordinate amount of time with the prospect just to find out that they've already got a broker who is going to sell them the same thing anyway, and they're just kind of using you as a pricing quoting comparison. Or they've got a brother or sister in the business, and you didn't know this information up front, whereas you maybe could have overcame it had you asked good questions to begin with. Being really effective at pre-qualification saves the most valuable resource that you have that Warren Buffett and Bill Gates cannot buy, and it's more time on earth, okay? The more time on earth that you have, the more time you can actually see qualified prospects that will buy. And you can learn how to disqualify those people who aren't. So pre-qualification is number one. Number two on my list here is really just persuasive skill set. Now, that's not like, being a slick salesperson in the kind of schemy sense that we're all kind of used to seeing in Hollywood. No, what persuasion means is learning how to figure out what the client wants and delivering and educating the client on the information about your product in a way that connects to what it is they want to accomplish. You have to listen very intimately, very closely to what troubles the clients have and show how those troubles are solved through the purchase of your insurance product. If you get really good at explaining, taking the complex and making it simple, it will make your life a lot easier and help you close more people and feel confident that your decision is really good. And last but not least, you got to be good at effective objection handling. If you're really good at persuasion and pre-qualifying like I just described, you'll experience less objection issues. If you get a lot of objection issues, it's usually because those two other issues aren't solidified. The one kind of objection that you will get with a lot of people when it comes to insurance, especially products like life insurance, is there is, with some people, a sense of apathy, a sense of, I can put off tomorrow. I can put this off till tomorrow when it's, I don't need to buy this today and spend my money I could spend elsewhere. You have to get really good at overcoming that kind of general malaise that you'll experience. And that's not necessarily a way that you handle an objection with a script. It's how you develop urgency to take action today. It's probably a better way to describe what I'm trying to say is how do you get people to buy from you today? That's the big thing. And a lot of that comes down to enthusiasm. Obviously, how do you persuade? How do you pre-qualify? And also, how do you paint the picture that today is the day to buy insurance? Again, I jokingly say this, but halfway serious. You got to make the prospect visually see the hearse backed up against the front porch. That's how you sell insurance when it comes to life insurance, at least, and make it clear that it's important. Point number 4 in the 5 tips to sell more insurance is you've got to have constructive criticism from a mentor. This is something that is really, really important. Unique to this business because a lot of you will be working in an independent fashion. You won't have a lot of hand-holding. You may have somebody who just shows you what to do and then you're left to your own accord. The problem with that is that many of us aren't perfect when we get started in this business. We don't know everything. And when we run into problems and we're not making sales, we tend to try to self-diagnose what our problems are. It's very much like health issues. We start a cough and we look on Google and it says we have cancer. We've self-diagnosed using inaccurate, unspecific information. Whereas what's really helpful is that if we have a mentor, a coach, a manager, somebody that will be a third party who is interested in your success but won't hold back the truth, it can substantially help you overcome some of the difficulties that you experience. You want somebody who is going to give you the cold truth, okay? They're going to listen to your sales call. Maybe they go on a ride along with you. Maybe you record your sales call for analysis, and they're going to tell you, look, here's your problem. You need to fix this, or you're out of this business. And you want somebody who's willing to be a bit of a jerk if necessary to get the picture across to you that you got to do some things differently in order to change up what it is, the problems that you're experiencing. Again, a lot of times you just don't know what you don't know. We're the worst critics of ourselves in the sense that we may criticize ourselves inaccurately. We think we're doing one thing wrong when really an experienced pro listening into on our skill set or our presentation finds out that we're doing something totally different, that's off script, that's not according to the plan, and instructs us that we got to change it in the right. So get a good upline, a good manager, a good agency to work with that's passionate about training you. That's the key thing, because that's going to help you really iron out all the issues that you have, that you will have, that we all have, especially when we start. Last but not least is you have to have a short and a long-term strategy in this business. Now, when I came into this business, like most agents, our goal is to make money yesterday, right? A lot of us come into insurance not because this is our dream to sit down with prospects and sell, in my case, burial insurance. It was something we arrived at out of desperation because our former careers weren't working out, things happened, lost jobs, that kind of thing. And we just have to survive. And that may be your position, and that's fine, but you need to also put some emphasis on what's your long-term strategy going to be. Beyond just picking a product line, doing the other elements I've described here, taking action on a daily basis, where are you going to be in 5 years? Where are you going to be in 3 years? You have to have what I call a clouds and dirt strategy. This is something coined by Gary Vaynerchuk, very good guy who understands business ideas and concepts and getting people to take action. The macro and the micro. You need to be thinking and visualizing, where do you want to be in 5 years? And the great thing about the insurance business is that there is tremendous opportunity in different markets, in income earning potential, and the ability to get freedom for yourself, as long as you go through the process of thinking through where you are today and where you want to be. Some factors you want to consider when it comes to making, in this case, I would describe a 5-year plan, is to talk about what product or market you want to be in. Do you want to be in business owner market? Do you want to be in a particular commercial niche if you're selling commercial insurance? Do you want to be in the senior market? What product do you want to start with? Obviously, that's obvious. But where do you want to start eventually, possibly cross-selling in the next couple of years? And one big thing that I'm pushing now in my content is the importance of developing passive income. I think what's really important for agents to understand is that many of the products out there only are a first-year driven type of product with very little renewal stream. Well, the beauty of the insurance business is that we can create a passive income that continues to pay us as long as we service our clientele. And there's many products that do that. We specialize in teaching agents the Medicare Advantage route predominantly in order to create passive income, or through creating your own agency and training agents to sell for you and creating a passive income off of their production. Both are just fine, but you have to think and orient yourself towards that direction. At least have some direction you're going into. Because one of the great things that you may not think is important to you now, but will be, especially as if you are younger and you're building a business, but also a family, and you want to spend more time with your spouse and kids, is you want to make sure that you have that time to do that. And by disconnecting your money from whether or not you're active or not is a really big decision that you need to commit to at some point in year 2 or 3 of your career, meaning that you'll do more business on a passive income basis. So those are my 5 tips to summarize. Specialize in one product if you're getting started in this business. Become the master of that product. Make sure your activity is maximized, that you're running more appointments. Many times it's not about getting better from a skill set perspective, but it's just about seeing more people. Number 3 is definitely improve your skill sets when it comes to appointment setting, door knocking, getting on the phone and talking, closing deals, running your sales presentation. And really to do that goes into step number 4, which is where you need to figure out who you can trust to help coach you to get to that level. And then number 5, set your short and long-term visions. Certainly set your goals to achieve your daily and monthly targets, but also think broadly. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Do you want to be actively in the field 5-6 days a week? Do you want to diversify some of your income from active to passive income strategies? So you can do it all in the insurance business if you think thoroughly and have a plan of action to get there. I do hope that you enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of content, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. I do a daily video on some sort of topic related to insurance sales, marketing, or really anything into that context. And if you have a comment you'd like to leave it below, please do. I'll answer every comment personally. Thumbs up, like the video, share it with other insurance agents. That would be very helpful as well, especially those getting started. And if you'd like to learn more about joining my organization, it's very simple. Go to davidduford.com, click Join Dave's Agency at the top, and you'll see all sorts of different sales and marketing programs that I offer to agents. My focus is predominantly in the senior market, where most of the business we do as of today, final expense and annuity sales, although we're adding new sales and marketing programs all the time with experts that can train you to become top producers. My name is David Duford. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.